welcome to finnCap's Driving Ambition web series and podcast. I'm Rajan Datar. Over the next few weeks, I'll be touring the country in an all-electric black cab, visiting an array of leading UK PLC small and medium-sized enterprises, all selected from finnCap's Ambition Nation listed 50. I'll be speaking to CEOs and business leaders to find out what are the key factors that drove their success. What was that company's unique journey? Because this is Ambition Nation.
What motivated you to get into this?
I've been involved in the IFA world and IFA distribution all that length of time. My father was actually involved in financial services. He worked for the Pru, and I naturally fell into the industry and fell in love with it. And I love IFAs. They're just great people.
Yeah.
They're very, very genuine people who look after their clients in a stunning way. And they're easy to work with. So we've literally been an IFA support services business for the majority of my 30-odd years in the industry.
And tell me about the nuts and bolts of starting a company like this, a service like this.
It's so important that you're there to support the IFA. And an IFA's got many choices. They can either decide to actually run their own business completely and have their own compliance systems and services in place, or they can outsource it to somebody like ourselves, or they can join a network basically and become an appointed representative. And the networks are quite a good incubator. They're a good way for an IFA business to sort of come in and get involved in the industry. But ultimately, I think an IFA would want to have control of his own business and basically be authorised directly with the regulator.
How's the world changed for them, and how are you adapting to that changing world?
I mean, the biggest thing has been all the regulation. I mean, IFAs have been absolutely buried with regulation, and naturally they need advice on how to pull those systems together and also how to sort of run the processes within the industry. And the biggest single change has been the retail distribution review. The IFA has actually gone through RDR and has prospered, and the big change really is moving away from commissions and fee generation that way to annual fee that's agreed with the client, or client agreed advisor remuneration. And that's been stunning for the IFA, because now they've got control. The IFA has prospered, their revenue has increased, their profitability has increased, and the numbers of advisors are increasing generally as well. So RDR has been really, really strong for IFA.
And what do you think that you and Tatton have offered to these IFAs that has set you apart, that has made you give them something better than say, rivals?
Yeah, I think it is pretty straightforward. It's just listening to them. So because we've worked so close with IFAs for so long, we understand what makes them tick. We understand what they want, but they're also very quick to tell us what they want. So, I think the biggest single reason that Tatton has been so successful is that the investment management piece has been designed for IFAs by themselves. We've partnered with them rather than just being another financial institution that's there. In today's world, where the regulator and the IFA want to drive down the cost of investing, it's so important that the service comes at the right price. And they told us what that price had to be. Amazingly, they said, we need to be able to buy your services for and the platform services for 50 basis points. So if you're any higher, then that's not going to work. And of course, platforms were around about 35 basis points at the time. So a bit of simple maths, we had to come in at 15, and nobody, even to this day, is doing it at 15. So 7 years ago when we launched it, it was a very, very brave move to actually come forward and say, right, we will give the IFA exactly what they want, 15 basis points for the service. And of course, then we had to take on the risk of building the investment team, having all the costs, being in the square mile, and trying to be established from day one. And we worked out we needed £1 billion worth of assets. We needed £1 billion of FUM to break even. And we got that first $1 billion in 12 months, which was ahead of schedule and ahead of target. And it was really because the IFA had been running their own advisory models. They'd been buying in research from one of the research providers. And they were saying that because there was advisory and they're having to go back to their clients for the signature every time any changes need to be made, that this was stopping them actually building a scalable business. So we thought that was a repeatable and robust central investment proposition, but actually they were wanting more. They were saying, actually, this isn't going to scale up. We need you to come forward with a new investment solution that gets rid of needing a client signature, stops the portfolios running out of sync, because obviously they really want to make sure that the clients are actually in the right risk category and haven't drifted out. And if you've got all that coming together, and you can do it at the right price, then we'll be interested in the solution. So classically, an IFA would try us out and see how it works. And once they're on board with us and they see how it works and get used to the service standards and the systems themselves, then, and obviously it's successful, then they now start to say, actually, I can't have my in-source over here with all the cost and this outsource, which is obviously much more efficient.
And when this you got to this level, were you the only provider like that? Were you the only service that's doing it the way you do it?
No, there are a number of IFA support services businesses in there. I think Tatton Investment Management and that DFM MPS, there were others in that market, but I think they were there as a sort of a defensive position rather than an offensive one. So classically, there will be discretionary fund managers who have a traditional DFM on one side, but they'll also have a DFM MPS on platform on the other. We've been passionate about that DFM MPS spot right from the start. And we don't have a traditional side at all, so we don't do custody. Everything is totally on platforms. IFAs love platforms. I think we have been so crystal clear about what our mission is and what our proposition is. We've led from the front. As I say, we came out with that price, which we're being rewarded for now, and I'm sure others will in time start to compete with us on price. We don't think that's going to be forever, but at the moment the disparity is quite large.
Do you think that was one of the key game changers that made you so successful?
Yes,
I
do think it was basically listening to what was required, rather than just saying, actually, no, it's got to be 25 or 30 basis points. We knew that they loved the repeatability and the robustness of the model portfolios, and we just wanted to just sort of enhance it and evolve it.
But inevitably there will be other rivals who will latch onto this, and probably are already, and saying, actually, we're going to do that way too.
Yeah.
How do you then deal with that?
The big thing for us is not to rest on our laurels. We have to say, and we do continually, that we've set the price. Others will probably follow, and in time we need to react. So we've got a whole host of ideas and projects running of what we would do as and when. So we've got the vision of where we want to be with it, and we'll play that card when we're ready. But we're absolutely passionate about the space, and we want to remain as the leader in that space and keep moving forward.
Is it only about price?
No. Price is important, but so is performance. You've got to give consistent investment performance. That's what the IFA wants. It's just about nice, steady, consistent returns, not looking to shoot the lights out. Just nice and steady, and we've done that over the last 6 years. We'll look to continue to do that.
Tell me then, Paul, with the IPO, how did that change things?
Gosh, well, that really did change things. I mean, the big reason for us wanting to IPO in the first place was to raise the profile of the company, in particular the Tatton Investment Management piece. So we wanted it to find it easier to engage with IFAs, for them to understand more about us. And of course, you get a much improved profile from being on the public market. If you look at the business prior to that, it's a smaller business, shareholdings owned by Mr. and Mrs. Hogarth in the main, and it doesn't look as good until you've got obviously the big financial institutions coming on board. I really enjoyed the IPO process. I'm probably a bit sick and a bit weird like that. Because
Why?
Well, most people say it's just such an arduous position, but I loved it. And it culminates obviously in your roadshow, when you're going around all of the fund management companies to see where they're going to buy the shares, basically. And we had a very, very tight roadshow. So we had a week which was obviously quite intense, and we got in front of loads of major financial institutions, and then the book was built very, very quickly, and I think we were something like 2.5 times oversubscribed, which was an incredible position to be.
And in terms of the presentation of this, when you're addressing these things at meetings, what were you saying?
You're just telling the story of how the businesses have worked, and how exciting this challenger investment proposition is, and how that we believe that that's going to be the big market mover out there.
And the main thing is, you believe what you're talking about. You really mean it.
I'm so fortunate to be actually in this position, to have what is actually working so well for the IFAs, and to have the chance to build this asset management business at my stage in life. It's hugely exciting. We've got a wonderful team around us, and as I say, it was an exciting proposition.
And in terms of the IPO and obviously the growth that follows from that, how does that affect your leadership role and how you work with your team?
I think that once you have floated, you're in a completely different world. I don't think anybody really prepares you for it, but I think the business has really moved up to another level. I think we're much more professional than we were before. The scrutiny, obviously, and transparency of everything you do is out there. It wouldn't suit everybody, but I'm perfectly happy with that. And I actually think that really helps our sales teams when they're out there, because the IFAs can do their due diligence on us so much more quickly. Everything's in the public domain, but you are on that conveyor belt. You move from one set of numbers to another, and it doesn't suit everybody. And
so in this scenario, you're recruiting different types of people.
I think you are. Because your business is moving forward so rapidly as well. We're trying always to improve the quality of the individual that's working with us. As I say, some individuals haven't managed to cope with it very well. Others have thrived, and it's great to see some young talent coming through as well. I think that's one of the nicest things to be honest. You can nurture and bring forward individuals, so you can see them growing into the role, gaining confidence, and doing things that they previously wouldn't have done.
And tell me about yourself in this situation. What's been most testing for you in terms of the scrutiny and the growth, the new types of people you need around you? Where have you been most challenged, do you think?
I think the scrutiny, because when you're running a business, you're running a business with your clientele, aren't you, and your management team and obviously your staff. What post-IPO, you've got another stakeholder there, haven't you? And in fact, you've got a series of stakeholders. You've got all of those institutions who are holding your stock, but then also you've got others that you're talking to who may want to hold your stock. So, and they've all got opinions.
But when you have that, when you're faced with that, what do you do?
I think we just have to go back to the fact that we're running this business. We're managing the business. We have to do what's right for our clients, what's right for our staff, what's right for the profitability and growth of the business, and not just get carried away with what individual shareholders want. We can't do that. Management has to be empowered to deliver what we need to deliver.
And your first loyalty, who's that to, would you say?
My first loyalty would be to the clients. Without the clients, we haven't got anything. If we ever forget that, then we are in a very difficult position. If we're looking after clients, our staff will have fantastic careers and the path will be laid out. If we ever lose sight of where we are or what we're about, if we ever lose that passion or the fact that we care and that we listen, then I think we would be starting to actually head towards our demise.
What do you think makes a good leader, be it in your business or any business, in terms of your experience? What makes a good leader?
I think a good leader has to have vision. I think vision's vitally important. You need to understand where you think this market's going, and that's a continual thing.
Yeah.
I think a good leader needs to have that gravitas to carry people with him. I think he needs to be straightforward, and I have an open door policy. So, I've always ready to listen to anybody, and I think that is a vital point.
Yeah.
You can't just lead and not listen.
Well, how far ahead do you think? 5 years? 10 years? You tell me.
I think 5 years is a long time.
It's a long time.
I think you're sort of, you're looking sort of 24 months out, really. I mean, maybe 36 maximum. Obviously, financially, you're looking at 36, but when you're building your vision of where you think the market's going to be, it's fast changing.
Yeah. And
it
things happen that surprise you, and then
it changes every week.
Can I put to you that it's a global business, global industry? Isn't it possible that a foreign company could actually do what you do?
I'll turn it on its head and say, actually, there should be other territories that once we get to size and scale within the UK, we should look to do that, because this is the most regulated country in the world. I think it's more complicated, more sophisticated than any other regime, including the States. So a lot of the work that the regulator here has done in the UK will move into other territories. And I think we'll be able to move the Tatton proposition into other territories.
That's interesting. Now then, let's come to this $64 million question, what it's called. In terms of the key decision in your life, which really was what transformed you and the company, what would it be?
I will go with the IPO. I think the IPO is the biggest decision that we've ever made, apart from the price, obviously. That movement from being a little private business to exploding into this brand new world was a huge decision. A decision that wasn't taken lightly. And as I say, a decision that I don't regret whatsoever.
Did you have to do it?
Oh, no. Gosh, you would never want to have to do it. No, we had loads of choices. We could have remained as we were. We could have sold, or we could have sold a stake in the business. Private equity were very interested in us as a business. But the reason I liked the IPO more than anything was, one, the profile, and two, you haven't sold you've still got the train set.
Yeah.
When you haven't sold the family silver. Yes, I've got a reduced percentage holding in the company, but I've still got a substantial one, and I'm still running the business, and the train set is still up and running, and it's functioning quite well.
And as long as you are the chief controller, as it were,
The fat controller.
Of the train set, you're still very necessary, and the investors will always go.
Yeah, but we need to nurture talent, and I need to think of succession as well, and I've got no intentions of retiring or anything. I'm really enjoying the moment. And we'll continue to enjoy it.
Well, it's testimony to how well this company's doing, that you still want to be involved in it.
Oh gosh,
you're still getting a buzz out of it.
Yeah.
What is that buzz?
So for me, I've got huge drive. I've always been like this. It is part of me. But to be involved in this and seeing the potential, because the potential for Tatton is absolutely huge. And I suppose, for us to be the newbies, because we are still relatively new, coming through at the pace that we are, it's that excitement, isn't it? I wake up at whatever time in the morning. It could be 3, 5 in the morning, and I can't wait to get to work. I don't even think of it as work. It's just an extension of what I do. I never, ever feel or get up thinking, oh my God, I've got to do this, this and this. I just love it, and I don't know what I'd do without it, to be honest. I don't know what my life would be if I didn't have that buzz.